So, hey, is it mine? Do you ask yourself that? Is this feeling mine? Do you always know? If you're an empath, I know you've asked yourself this question, right? How long did it take us to get to that point to even know to ask? I was reflecting on that, like as a child, all the emotions I would feel and the energy and the pushing and the pulling and the heaviness and the anxiety and all the things. And it's like trying to make sense of it, right? And as a kid, how do you make sense of it? Even as an adult, sometimes, how do you make sense of it? So, oftentimes, as empaths, we have a difficult time identifying what we are feeling because it may not even be ours, right? It may not even be our own emotions or energy that we're feeling at the time. So, that's what brought about this topic for today, for this week. So, in this video, we are going to go over some journaling tips, an energy healing lifestyle, right? And all the points. So if you're new to me, I have a system called what I call the best you. And it falls in line with the 7 chakras. So we're going to go over that as well. And probably a few more things. So to be honest, I didn't super focus on an agenda for today. I'm allowing it to flow. Because it's been a while, like 2 months. And again, if you're new to me, I was doing daily videos for chakra journal prompts. So we went through this 7 chakras, one a day, and I was introducing best you in that, right? And it's just evolving. In time, in life, there's shifts, and that's okay. We'll make the best of it. So let me come here. Hey, Iona, for when you come back, Iona had posted and said, hey, love, I will catch the replay. If you have not already, please subscribe to the Soul Legacy TV with Iona. She is stinking amazing. Not stinking, but amazing. It's just my words, right? And if you have a spiritual business and you are on or want to get on YouTube, she will take you by the hand and show you how. Oh man, I would not be here if it was not for Iona's support and system, because her system is showing me how I can have it all. And I love that. Because there's a lot that I want, and I don't mean in a greedy way, but I mean like with time with family and with my granddaughter and helping out my mom and just all the things, right? So it's a beautiful system, and thank you, Iona. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. It has been a while, huh? I could not believe that. I was looking back, it's like 2 months since I've done a live. How is it 2 months already? Jennifer says, hello, beautiful beings. Thank you for being here. Let it flow. Girl, we are, right? It really works out better that way anyways, doesn't it? So just a heads up, my intention is, I'm going to come on Wednesdays, ideally Wednesdays at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, if I'm not scheduled to work, right? So life may say I can't, come in the way of that exact day and time, which is fine. We'll just flow with it. And I'll make adjustments, but we'll still come once a week for a live. And then my intention is to, since I'm going over everything in one live instead of pieces each day, is I'm going to pull a short, what they call shorts on YouTube, right? I'm going to pull a short out of each. Ideally, if I stay organized enough, 7 shorts out of the video, and then schedule them to come on. So at least we get a fresh point or prompt for each day. So fingers crossed. It might take me a minute to get that organized, but we'll get it done. Jennifer says, yeah, well, I know, right? You've been live, just not YouTube. True. Thank you for that. You are right. So for those who don't know, Jennifer was with me on the journey for Reiki for Empaths level 1. Yay! I was working on that a little bit earlier too, putting together like a workbook, practice journal type thing. So when I get that finished, I'll put it on the learning portal for everybody. Pretty excited about that too, not gonna lie. And then because I want to prepare and be on top of it for level 2. Yay! So anyone interested in Reiki for Empaths, it is based on Usui Reiki. If you're looking for a certificate for Usui Reiki, that is incorporated in that as well. But the focus is on us as empaths, because I'm going to go ahead and talk about that real quick. As empaths, we tend to deny ourselves, right? We want to help everyone else. We feel that purpose. We feel driven. We feel that desire, and we feel that compassion, empathy for others. We want to help and help and help and help and help. And we start to forget to help right here first, right? The healing starts within. It starts with us to make that change in the world, right? We start with us. But yet we tend to deny ourselves. So the focus is self-healing first, right? Excuse me. Jennifer says the shorts are doing good. Thank you. They've changed the system on YouTube. I don't know if you pay attention to that or not. I was messing with it last night. I'm like, oh, they made it so much easier. Perfect timing. So yay. Yeah, Reiki, beautiful class. Thank you for that. Thank you. I enjoyed that a lot. A lot. Love the journey. Love it. So is this feeling mine? Again, in reflection on my energy healing lifestyle, right? Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out is I noticed that when I would look on YouTube or do searches or whatever on the how-tos, right? How to journal. A lot of people journal. There's different ways you can journal. There's probably not a right and a wrong way to journal, right? It's just whatever works for us. But I noticed that in reflection, when I first got started or first had this idea or was first encouraged to journal, I didn't know how or what to do. That journaling was really for me at the start like a anger dump. I hate life and this fight and this person pissed me off this way and that way. And it was just all like an anger dump, which helped. I'm not saying it didn't help, but it helped. I tried other ways that didn't resonate, I guess, with me as well. Or oftentimes then for a moment, I would do gratitude journals, which was great. But it seemed like I was doing these extremes, right? Like extreme anger dump to extreme gratitude and missing all kinds of things in between and not really noticing a focus or a purpose or an ongoing outcome, if you will, or benefit from it. So then I wouldn't stay with it, which is why I, leaned into and was putting things together for the Chakra journal prompts, journaling, Chakra journal. And that was nice because it allowed me to reflect in each different areas and really see the connections and how that energy flows. And then when you start incorporating, best you, which for those who don't know, it's my acronym. So best you, if you break it down with the first letters, it's your beliefs, right? Root chakra, beliefs, emotions, sacral chakra, self-esteem, solar plexus chakra, transformation in the heart chakra, right? We get to make that decision if we dip down to repeat those cycles in our humanness because we didn't get our full lesson yet, or if we pivot up into the higher vibrational chakras. Throat chakra, speaking your truth, right? The why for you, your truth. Third eye chakra, observer, not just observing outwards. We do that with our physical eyes, right? Our human eyes. We see out and around us all over. But it's our third eye where we really have that self-awareness, when we can dip in or kind of separate away from the humanness of emotions and just see things for what they are without our opinions or our judgments. And then the crown chakra, drawing in that source energy, right? Pure spirit, unconditional love. And then working with Iona, right? Because Iona and I have that joint vision partnership. And Iona has the 7 freedoms, the Cheers to Financial Freedom. So if you don't know what those are, Jennifer, I know you do, hop over to Iona's channel, excuse me, and she is walking you through those and her journaling, right? She's back to daily journals, so it's exciting. They mesh and meld so well together, and we didn't plan it that way, which is really exciting too. But point being, incorporating those, so just in one step, if you will. So root chakra with best you beliefs and the 7 freedoms, which for that would be like on Mondays, the first one, contribution freedom. It became more than just a chakra journal, right? So we have the energy healing lifestyle journal. And then we'll be incorporating Reiki and energy, like all kinds of things, all the things. There's just so many steps and pieces. It's beautiful. So I went on a tangent just to kind of catch up for a little bit. I won't repeat that every time. Excuse me. So much energy flowing. I notice I feel like I'm like trying to catch my breath. There's so much excitement too. Like I'm trying to catch my breath. But anyways, I did want to catch up since it's been 2 months since I've done a live. Jennifer says, dump then burn, right? Doodle. When I really had a super routine before work. Ah, right. My journal was lots of thanks and gratitude. Yeah, then more with you. It's tapping into feelings of the day. It really is, right? Reflecting and connecting. Oh, I like that. Reflecting and connecting. Yes, it's beautiful. Thank you. I think so too. I love it. I love how it all comes together. It can be a challenge sometimes to like really break it down. So I am going to try that. So let me see if we can do this. I'm going to, since I'm visual and I can kind of see the banners, let's reflect back to the chakra journal for a moment. Excuse me. So the step 1, right? And I keep feeling like I'm going to lose my voice. So bear with me and stay with me till I'm done. So typically on Mondays in the chakra journal, we look at root chakra energy, right, on Mondays. So for short, RCEM and equals, we rate that energy between a 1 and an 11. So to tie in the topic of the week, right, is this energy mine? And then reflecting on where all of it begins. So if you're an empath and a child, and maybe if you're like me, I didn't have that awareness, understanding, none of it growing up. So if anyone in my family even knew what that was or how that, they certainly didn't share it with me. Okay. Not at all. I was trying to figure it all out on my own and clueless in the process. And also we have, gosh, I could pull the codependency in on that too, right? So when we grow up in, we call them dysfunctional families, but yet I feel like every family probably has a certain level of dysfunction, right? I don't know who judges what's perfect and what isn't and what's dysfunctional and what isn't, but it feels dysfunctional. I'll just say it that way. It feels that way. It'd be perfectly normal. It didn't feel normal. It didn't. Once I learned something different, it didn't feel normal. Let me catch myself there, because in the moment it does. It's when it's all you know, it is your normal. It's when you learn something different, then you're like, oh, is that normal or was that normal? Which one was it, right? Both, whatever, it doesn't matter. However, what does matter is how we get through it, how we move through it, how we process it. So remember, we have layers, right? Layers in our chakras based on the experiences that we have. Do we process those experiences in a healthy manner, or do we get kind of hung up? Do we struggle with it? Does it not feel right? Do we not? Maybe we avoid it. We don't look at it. We don't really process it. And it just sits there. And it sits there then and becomes an energetic block in our energy body, right? There's that. So when I look at or reflect on my upbringing and where my beliefs start, because that's all in my root chakra, right? How I started this lifetime, what I brought with me from past lifetimes, which I still don't remember, and this current lifetime experiences. So as a child, I was the youngest. There was age gaps, like 7 and 9 years between me and my brothers. Lots of energy flowing in the house, pretty heavy, intense at times. Having no idea, right? Just that reflection of like, I had no idea that some of the stuff I was feeling wasn't even mine. So I couldn't identify it. I couldn't rationalize it. I couldn't make sense of it. I tried. Maybe I created stuff in my head. Like, I don't remember. I was a kid. But where does it come from? And then when in our lifetime do we finally start to learn or see that, oh, there's this thing called an empath. Oh, there's this thing called energy. Oh, right? I could be feeling somebody else's. Maybe it's not mine. Here's the other thing. Maybe I don't have to identify it. Maybe I don't have to. Maybe I can just release it. Maybe I could just let it be. Maybe I can just transmute it, right? There's so many different things we can do with it. So one, being important in the root chakra, in our belief system, because we take that and carry it on with every other life experience that we have next, right? So there's a journaling point on that reflection of just saying, hey, what is my experience, right? And if my experience was to carry the weight of other people's energy and emotions, let me not get ahead because that's part 2, right? But I'm believing that I'm responsible. I'm believing that all of this stuff is mine. And it's mine to carry, and it's mine to deal with, and it's mine to identify, and it's mine to fix, and it's mine to solve, and it's mine to, right? That's a lot. So you carry that on with your next step. So in my root chakra, right, part of my belief system, how I've now positioned myself, how I believe who I am and what my role is in life. Now let's pull in Iona's contribution freedom on Mondays, right? How do I then contribute? How do I contribute as a person, as a friend, as a daughter, as a mother, as a grandmother, as a, as a sibling, as a cousin, as a anything? How do I now contribute with all of that I just brought in with me? Especially if I can't identify that it's not mine. So again, for me, if you're used to me, you know that I'll ask, right? That exact question, is this energy mine? Because even just in recognizing it, being aware of it, and calling it out, if you will, shining some light on it, like, hey, I see you or I feel you, but are you mine? Or I need to be carrying you around with me, allows me that opportunity to detach from it, to do something different with it. So I can either say, yes, it is mine, so this is what I'm going to do with it, or no, it's not mine, so I can detach from it, transmute it, send it back, at least not carry it around, right? Come over here, comments for a minute. I'm kind of swapping back and forth, Jennifer, so forgive me if I miss anything. Yay, 111, fantastic. Until you find the light, you never knew anything was different. It's so true, right? Because you only know what you know. And that's still true. Like, I learn something new every single day. We only know what we know. And then maybe still not know, right? It's just a different perspective. It's wonderful to get that shift and ask it if it's mine. It is, isn't it? It can be so relieving. Thank you. Thank you. I'm clicking away, bouncing back and forth. It's just, it feels really different. I'm used to doing that one a day, right? So it feels really different to try to pull it all in one day for the week and then keep it organized so I can pull those shorts out too, to have still have an offering or support daily, just in a different way kind of thing. So I hope it works out how I want it to. So next one, sacral chakra energy. So typically we cover that on Tuesdays, right? Sacral chakra energy, Tuesdays, SCET. If we rate that energy from 1 to 11, and the sacral chakra governs our emotions, which is the E in best you, right? So keep in mind, heart chakra, right? Chakras up, higher vibrational energy. Chakras lower are lower vibrational energy. So I think of higher up meaning more spiritual, if you will, more divine, lighter, right? That connection with source. When it's down, it's more of our human experience, more 3D, if you will. Sacral chakra then being right below the heart chakra, more of our humanness experience. Now, emotions are not always terrible. It's interesting when I reflect back on, even in my role as being a therapist in the past, in working with people, there was this language about emotions where emotions or feelings were like a bad thing. To say, what are you feeling? There's this automatic assumption that it would be a bad feeling, meaning like a low vibrational feeling, the feelings that we don't really like to have, right? And it's like, not all feelings are bad. Not all emotions are bad, right? There are happy, loving emotions and feelings too. So just keeping that in mind in our language, how we can create more barriers just by our perception of it, what we get used to, what becomes our normal, right? So in those years and experiences when I was really sucked in and stuck in depression and anxiety and ick, I had that perspective for a while, right? I wasn't aware of it at the time, but late when I finally pulled through that and could look back at it, I could see then how I thought the same. An emotion or feeling like was this bad thing. Like, even as a kid, forbid you had an emotion of your own, right? Who are you to have a feeling? Won't be having any of that in this house, right? And then even if it was a loving feeling, I can remember being asked, I was a hug bug. Like, I don't know. I was not taught that. I'm just saying, I was not taught that. And I can remember my mom like asking me, where did that come from? Like, that is not, we did not teach, like literally verbally verbalize this to me. Like, I know, I don't know. I didn't have an answer, right? I don't know. I must have brought it in from another life. We didn't use that language when I was a kid. I didn't know about past lives. But emotions aren't always bad or heavy or dense or gross. We can have good emotions, right? We have emotions that make us smile. Time with our children could be either or, right? We could get stressed and frustrated or full of unconditional love. Grandchildren, the same, right? I get happy and excited. I don't see them all the time. So when I do, it's a blessing. And I don't have all the responsibility that I had as a parent because now I'm a grandparent and I can send them home and it's a beautiful thing. Just being silly. But right, there's fluctuation. There's emotions and feelings are on a spectrum. However, I digress. Humanness, our human emotions in the sacral chakra, they don't have to push and pull us. They can if we allow them, right? They don't have to, though. And they can help guide us. They let us know what we like and don't like. They help us with that discernment, right? Does this feel right? Does it not feel right? Actually, probably more discernment from the higher chakras, but there's that connection. It's not completely separate. The energy flows all the way through, right? There is a connection in there. So we can use our emotions as a guide. This doesn't feel good to me. So what can I do differently? And that's something I can journal on, isn't it? What can I do in my energy healing lifestyle? What can I change, update, upgrade, implement, just do for me? Maybe it's a cue to say, dude, you're not taking care of yourself, right? You have to take care of you too. So then I do that. Yeah. And then in Iona Mead's Soul Legacy Journal, Cheers to Financial Freedom. The second step, or on Tuesdays, as we say, so I like to use the week there, right? It's Health Freedom Tuesday. Health is physical and other, right? We have emotional health, spiritual health, mental health, all the things. So keeping an eye on that as well. So our emotions can help guide us and lead us in that way. And they go hand in hand with the physical. If I eat a bunch of heavy foods that aren't great for my body, I feel sluggish. I feel icky. I can feel almost depressed because of it, right? And then I notice that when I feel kind of depressed or bummed or low and heavy, I like to eat the foods to feed it, right? Like I feed that, I'll emotionally eat. And then I've also noticed, like when I would have those bouts of being really anxious and stressed, I couldn't eat. I would feel sick if I ate. So it's very interesting how you can pay attention to your physical well-being and the emotional and how they go hand in hand. Jennifer, I love you. I know, right? Pure love. Absolutely. Stir them up and send them. I know, right? Sugar them up. Actually, I don't do that. But yeah, I do like to. It's just nice. It's just nice. To be honest, sometimes I don't want to send them home. But it's just probably because I miss them, But then it's okay. Like it took me a while in my life journey to become okay with missing, right? It's okay to miss. I'm not really missing anything, but you know what I mean? Like that feeling of I just enjoy their presence. So when they're not here and I'm thinking about them, I miss them, but that's okay because then I can love up on them when I see them before I send them home again. But when they're having those days, those days where you're like, oh no, then I can send them home. And that's a beautiful thing. Sugar silly phone. Yeah, it took me a second, but I got it. That's fine. I know, right? Come on, fix my typos. Don't give me more of them. All right, so sacral chakra. Let's see. Did I pull in on my rambles? Whew, as an empath in those emotions, right? Can you imagine what the energy is like in the sacral chakra for us as empaths? Oh, before we learned how to take care of ourselves, right? Before we learned what these things meant, before we had that different perspective, before we knew how to journal and how to release and how to know that maybe it's not ours and being okay with that, or how to transmute it and how to hold space and send love without being sucked into it, all the things. It's a lot, isn't it? And again, on the physical health, with health freedom, so the sacral chakra, or emotions, right? Being an empath, and then as a female, I think of even the difficulties I had in my physical female health, right? My there's a word. What word am I looking for? Cycle was wonky. Cramps, wonky. Moods, whew, very wonky. It's being nice. I'm being very nice. Even now, right? I probably hit menopause early. However, I will say, and thank goodness for the energy healing lifestyle, because I've heard of people getting really nasty when they reach, this stage in their life of menopause. And I think I've probably mellowed out more. I was way more spunkier in my younger days. So that's a blessing for me and everyone around me. But still having that in mind, right? Kind of makes me wonder, just out of a curiosity thing, not that I spend a lot of energy on the thought, but if I wasn't an empath, right? If my life was different, would my cycles have been different? Would they have been more balanced? Would they have been, it just makes you wonder. Again, doesn't matter. It's not worth all that extra energy and thought, but just a reflection and just to expand possibilities, right? Just that awareness. So next one. Excuse me, on Wednesdays, we focus on solar plexus chakra energy, right? Today is Wednesday. So this was interesting as I was doing some shorts last night and I took the shorts last night from the newer updated 7-day chakra healing challenge. So if you've not yet gone through that, please go do that. It's free. But I was thinking about personal power, right? We talk about personal power, and I know that oftentimes when we talk about personal power, we mean that in the best way possible, that we mean that in an empowering way, because oftentimes we feel like we're just unworthy and icky and, helpless and hopeless, and we get sucked into all the humanness things. But I caution us, because speaking of personal power is also humanness, right? Solar plexus, remember how we just talked about the heart chakra is that bridge between the higher and lower? Solar plexus is still lower, right? Solar plexus is still dense and lower vibrational in humanness. So when you think of personal power, so for myself, and it makes me think of the Reiki class we were talking about, right? So for those of you who do Reiki or energy healing, we open ourselves up to be a channel, right? We're just trying to basically be an empty tube, so to speak, for universal energy, that unconditional love from pure spirit to flow through us, right? That's it. There's no personal power in that at all. My personal power, if you will, in that situation is my ability to let go and open up and allow. That's it, right? That's it. My strength in that aspect, which again is not even mine, is just that. My ability to let go, my ability to step out and just say, I'm open, right? Use me as a conduit, and just allowing. That's it. So there is no personal power in that, right? There is no personal power in that. My personal power is in my humanness. When I feel that personal power in my humanness is usually when I have that chip on my shoulder and I think, somebody's offended me or threaten my family, and I think I can be a superhero and teach them a lesson, right? That's very humanness. Very humanness, right? Do you hear the difference in that? Can you feel the difference in that? I mean, kind of being silly in it, but, Jennifer says, spunky, awesome. I don't know. It does help to know. Yep, it's in the past. No pondering from there, right? Excuse me. It's just light reflection, making connections in the journey forward. Having the awareness and shining light on it, though, too, because, I mean, we all feel differently and we have to do what's right for us, right, on our own, for each of us as an individual, because we are also then helping the collective. However, some people say pay no attention to it. Some people say have the awareness. I'm one of those awareness people. Just because I can't fix it if I don't know that there is something to be fixed, if you will. And I know we could say technically nothing needs fixed and so forth. However, we wouldn't be on a healing journey if we didn't think something didn't need healed, right? We wouldn't do things like Reiki if we didn't think things didn't need that energy. But then how do we know if we don't have an awareness? So spectrum, right? There's always that spectrum. It's not one extreme or another. I think that we should not have complete avoidance. I know they say ignorance is bliss, but I think we should not have that complete avoidance, depending on what our goals are, right? For me and my journey, it's not to have complete avoidance, but it's also not to get sucked in, right? Sucked in and down. Because some of those things we can get, it can just grab us, right, and take us down like quicksand. And to be aware of that is important for our own well-being. I have those topics. I have those things. It's like, ooh, rabbit hole. Deep, dark, ugly rabbit hole. Not trying to do that either. But to have enough awareness, shine the light, stay healthy, taking care of self, right, to then be in a space where I can be open, loving, not to take care of others, but to be a conduit for love, a conduit for healing, hold that space, offer that as support, if you will. Yeah, it's always that wobble in between, right? Jennifer says the ego is so tricky. Keep catching it. Transmute with love. Exactly, right? Oh, that's good personal power to let go. It is, really. Ego and notice it, yes, and let it go. Exactly. It could still reappear. Sure it does, sure it does. And that's okay. A beautiful balance. It is, really. Yeah, those rabbit holes. Gotta watch them rabbit holes. So in that solar plexus, right? And again, personal power. When we think of that energy, is it mine? Is the emotions mine? Am I carrying on from someone else? Am I trying to fix other people's stuff, right? When I see someone oh my gosh, that memory just popped up saying it. When I would see someone feeling down, I wanted to rescue, right? Oh, you look down. I want you to be happy. I want you to be okay. What can I do to help you? And that's not mine. They didn't come to me and ask me for anything, right? They didn't ask me. Why am I jumping in and trying to take it? No, it's not mine. It's not my place. Personal power. I like the personal power of letting it go first. Asking the question if it's mine. If someone comes to me for help, that's fine. I still don't have to take it on all the stuff, right? I can hold the space without taking it on. I can be an observer without absorbing. Again, personal power is not to say to put on a cape, be the rescuer, and try to do it all and take it all on, right? But we can see how that experience, rooting in the beliefs, right? Root chakra beliefs, how we feel all those emotions, whether they're mine or they're not, and I'm carrying them on and what I'm doing with those, right? Into our solar plexus. Am I feeling powerful, right? Personal power. Or am I allowing myself to be open in my self-esteem? Then also, self-esteem, the S and best you. Personal power, see how those combine? Do I feel really good and strong? Do I have an overactive solar plexus? Do I feel like my self-esteem is heightened because I feel all of this power, right? Powerful. Do I feel the exact opposite? Do I feel beaten down and taken down and unworthy and my self-esteem is really low because I only see myself as a human who is undeserving and unworthy because I didn't know what to do with my own stuff, let alone everybody else's, right? Balance and flow in that as well. So Legacy Journal on Wednesdays, it's emotions. So incorporate the emotions, incorporate the thoughts. The beliefs affect my emotions, right? All these pieces fit in together. We can journal on all of them, our perspectives, the way we see them, how we feel about them, how we think about them. I can think myself into a feeling, whether it's a really great feeling or a really not so great feeling. And then I can also feel based on situations, people I'm around, the environment, right? As an empath, is the feeling mine? But asking and being aware of that. Come back here for a minute. Jennifer says, yeah, empty tube of loving energy. Exactly. Let it flow. Hold space, not take space. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you for sharing that. So next up, we have, after solar plexus, our heart. Right? Heart chakra. We usually cover this on Thursdays when we break it down one day at a time. Heart chakra is that space of love, right? Higher chakras and lower chakra energy connects, meets, bridges, however you want to say it, in the heart space. Excuse me, it is a space for unconditional love. However, I would also say it's a space where we might set conditions for love too. We might, and I do this, I've noticed I've done this for myself. So with my beliefs and my emotions and my crummy self-esteem that I had in the past, I would assume, right, that people couldn't love me unless I met certain conditions. And why is that? Because that's what I was taught. People, except I think I misunderstood, right? It wasn't love that had the condition. It was maybe, what's the words I'm looking for? Someone else's opinions, emotions, reactions. Those were based on conditions, right? But it's not the same. But when you're a kid, you don't really know the difference. You don't realize that you're loved unconditionally. You only realize what's being said or the energy that you feel in the moment. So something I made sure, not that I was perfect at it, not trying to make it sound that way, but in raising my own kiddos, and even now just in the time with my grandbabies, making sure they know that frustration, anger, disappointment, like when you get in trouble, doesn't mean I stop loving you. I love you no matter what, right? We don't have to be happy with each other in the moment. That's okay. We still love each other, right? Like there's a difference, and I want them to understand that there's a difference because I didn't understand as a kid, right? And you bring that with you, don't you? So the heart chakra and the energy in your heart chakra, transformation, being open to that, having an awareness and understanding and a feeling around that and the belief around that you can have the unconditional love. The conditions come with loving boundaries. Yeah, there's a difference. Physical action and behaviors aren't the same as unconditional love. Sometimes we love deeply and have no clue how to express it. We don't know how to say it, and we don't know how to show it, right? We only know what we know. Let me know if that made sense. Kind of went on a little ramble there and reflecting at the same time. So that was kind of an interesting moment. Oh, I see my mirror repeats me. Ah, that's it. Yes. Yeah. Things do repeat, don't they? I'm interested to come back and hear what I was just saying because I know it, some of it was new, which is interesting, like coming on and alive, and it comes up and it's new, and I know I needed to hear it. It's that like being open as the conduit and letting things flow through. It's amazing because I know I get what I need even though it came out of my own mouth. Yes, boom, it's all okay, all feelings. Yes, it did make sense. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So heart, space for transformation, right? We get to choose. And by choose, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, right? If we didn't get the full lesson, then we dip back down into human experience to get it. It's okay. It's fine. Or we dip up because we cleared it all up, right? We get to pull in some more of that unconditional love from pure spirit. It's beautiful. Either way, it's beautiful. We can still do that because it's layers and layers and layers, and it's a constant flow of energy regardless, right? Regardless. And then in Iona's, I do have some notes so I could keep all this organized to a degree for me. Oh, environmental freedom. So Thursday at the Soul Legacy Academy or Soul Legacy and Soul Legacy TV, Environmental Thursdays. starts here. This environment first, right? My soul is hanging out with this body, kind of like a puppet in a way, right? Trying to say, do it, let's go here, let's go there, and then my human either listens or doesn't, and my soul just stays with it, like, okay, this is what we're doing. It's what we're doing. But this environment first. What am I doing with this one? Where am I putting this one? Right? Oh, sometimes I think about that. Where am I sharing my physical space? Where am I putting this body in the physical spaces? Where do I spend my time? Where do I expose my energy? Right? And then how do I keep that space around me? Do I feel comfortable in it? Can I enjoy it? Do I feel stressful? We can make those changes for ourselves, right? We don't have to put ourselves in a physical space that we don't want to be in, or that's not healthy and good for us, right? Sometimes I still struggle with that. It's like, oh, part of me doesn't really want to be here, but I do want to be here for these reasons. And sometimes I guess it's like prioritizing, and that's okay too. It's not always an easy, direct yes or no answer, right? That's okay too. This is where we get to decide, right? And it's unconditional love for you and me, for us together, not one or the other. Don't have to pick and choose. We don't have to be rude. We don't have to be unloving to set a physical boundary. Yeah? Excuse me. I always tell the kids, we are the sky, all thoughts and feelings are the clouds. I do like that. Is the sky bothered by the storm? Who's creating the cloud? Choices are very big. I like that. Yeah, who is creating the storm? It's a big one, isn't it? Can you hear the wind outside? My goodness, speaking of storms. It's not storming, but it's very windy and gross outside in Ohio today. It's the cloud pass. Yeah, let the cloud pass by. Can't think now of what it was. Like the name or title of the thing we used to teach, but it was kind of on that order, like seeing, even in meditation, when a thought pops up, just kind of see it as a cloud or on a cloud to pass by you, where we don't have to engage in those thoughts, right? I don't know about y'all. I'm pretty sure we all do it, whether we notice it or admit it or not, but we have that constant banter in our own minds, right? One thought feeds another, feeds another, feeds another, and I think about this or I think about that, and I engage in this thought or that thought, and it's a constant. Our minds are always going, always busy, which is why they say meditate. And meditate doesn't mean it has to be completely quiet the whole time, but you slow down those clouds. You let them pass by, and you don't have to engage in it. You don't have to have a full conversation with it, right? Beautiful thing. And we can journal on it. If it is something that keeps popping up, it's popping up for a reason. It's trying to get your attention. It needs your attention. It needs a little bit of your time and space, right? Needs some love, needs to be transmuted. We can do that. Can absolutely do that. Next one is throat chakra energy on Fridays. So rating the energy in the throat chakra. TCEF for short, right? Mine gets wonky still sometimes. Sometimes it flows very clearly and freely. It's interesting. When I go back in my videos, I can hear a difference in my voice. It's almost like a different voice. Then there's times where we have that scratchiness where I feel like it's breaking up that energy, right? Because we're speaking out and speaking our truth more. But I caution this as well. So speak your truth. Which truth are you speaking from? Are you speaking from your humanness truth, from the lower chakras, right? Or are you speaking your highest truth, from your highest self, from pure spirit, from unconditional love? Which truth do you speak? So when I'm carrying the energy from others, right, is the feeling mine? And I'm carrying the feelings from others, the emotions from others, the energy from others, and I'm not even sure what it is or why I feel the way I do, because it wasn't mine to begin with. Do I recognize that it's not mine? How am I speaking? Am I feeling defensive? Am I shutting down? Am I confused? Because I get confused, right? It can be confusing to not really know what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, realizing later on it wasn't mine anyway, right? Or what to do with it. Makes a big difference. Best you, this would be the why for your truth, right? And as I said, to be mindful, if we are speaking our highest truth from unconditional love, pure spirit, or am I speaking from my humanness truth, or what people call ego, the lower density energies, my defensiveness, based on my rooted beliefs, my human emotions, my self-esteem, whether that self-esteem is strong, overactive, or when I'm feeling unworthy, right? And I used to have that chip on my shoulder and feel defensive when I felt unworthy because I felt like I was fighting the world for years. I felt like I was fighting the world, trying to find my place in it, trying to be heard, trying to be seen, right? Journal on all that stuff, clear that crap out, but be aware of it. Can't clear it out if you don't know it needs cleared. That's how I feel about that anyway. Jennifer says, yes, and most thoughts are not true. Exactly. And it's so neat to me, the more and more I think about that statement about how we create our own reality, and that exactly, because our thoughts and our perspective, right, affects our beliefs, and our beliefs affect our thoughts and perspective. So it's that cycle within itself right there. But yeah, how I can look at something, how I feel about it, how I then believe it to be, and how I can change it, which is how I was saying earlier. I can think myself into an emotion, right? I can think myself into how I feel about it. It's really cool, which is why gratitude is such a big thing. We can shift when we're feeling icky about something and we find a different perspective and find the gratitude in the experience that we're having, it makes a huge difference. Jennifer, LOL, I'm listening, really listening. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. Yes. Throat chakra communication, right? How we communicate, not only how we speak, right? So are we assertive in our speaking? Are we aggressive in the way that we speak? Are we passive in the way that we speak? And how we listen. Do we actively listen to understand what the other person is trying to say? Or do we listen defensively? Do we listen to react? So reactively listening. Do we actively or reactively listen? Am I listening to hear your point of view? Am I listening to gain a better understanding? Am I listening through meditation to really hear a message for myself, or to hear what my highest self is trying to say? Or am I reactively listening to all the things around me in my physical dense world to find that moment of going, see, I knew it. I knew it. There it is. Like a cat waiting to pounce, right? Where I cut everything else off. What is it? There was something else that just popped in. When you hear 10 compliments, and then there's that one thing that says, but I've noticed this, and if you can improve that, man, boom, right? And you're like, oh shit, there's that one thing. And I'm only focused on the one thing. I'm beating myself up because I wasn't really good on that one thing. And I totally dismissed all the other 10 fantastic things I did, right? How do we listen? It's all part of our communication. And it does make a difference on how we respond to it. And do I take a moment to listen, hear, sit with it to respond, or do I quickly react? Lots of questions. So let me forget to then Iona's and the Soul Legacy Academy as relationships ties right in, right? Our communication in our relationships, the relationship with myself, my relationship with all of you, my relationship with each one of my family members, my relationship with highest self, God, source, pure spirit, right? All of our relationships, how we communicate. How would you have a relationship without communication? How would that even work? I don't think it could. I don't think it could. Jennifer, haha, my ego is right. Yes, exactly. Yep, exactly. And oh man, I would be a rich lady if I could have like a penny probably for every time I had done that in my lifetime too. Like, boom, right there. I knew it. I was right. I was right. And why? Like, what did I win? And nothing good. That's for darn sure. Okay. Next one. Brow chakra, third eye chakra, whichever terms you prefer to use. Right here, our intuition. The O of best you, which is the observer. Highest self. Intuition. Did I say that already? Intuition. It's huge, right? Having that awareness beyond the physical, beyond 3D, beyond the humanness, our human self, right? Excuse me. And then Soul Legacy Academy, it is spiritual freedom. So if we're doing each day Saturdays, right? Spiritual Freedom Saturday, all ties in. Our clairs, being the empath, being able to see beyond the humanist experience of being an empath, right? Because in my humanist experience of being an empath is when my solar or my sacral chakra was really packed full, because it was more than just my stuff, even though I was owning it like it was my stuff. And it was really heavy and dense and sometimes quite anxious and stressful, which blocked my third eye chakra because I had no idea that it wasn't even mine to begin with. So I wasn't able to observe it from that space, right? I was just sucked into it and pushed and pulled around with it. Kind of felt beat up by it, to be fair. But once I was able to get cleared and aligned, more self-awareness and just that higher awareness of my spirituality, learning about energy, learning about Reiki, learning about people, learning about how we really affect each other and how the connection is deeper than I ever imagined in my humanness, right? To have that higher awareness and higher observation, to know that my intuition, although I was told as a human being that I was wrong, I was right, maybe not 100%, but there was something to be said about that intuition, right? To learning more and trusting myself more now when I have those intuitive nudges and to flow with it, to believe in it, right? To allow myself to have the spiritual beliefs that I choose to believe and not what all want to condition me with, if you will. And no blame, shame, and guilt. We all choose to believe what we're going to believe. I'm just saying it like that. I'm not going to try to tell someone they should believe differently, but don't tell me to believe differently either, right? My views are definitely kind of different, and I won't get into them here because they could be considered controversial, and I would love to have the controversial conversations because I just like to do that in my humanness, but I won't do it here. Right? Won't do it here. Where are we at? Here we go. One more suffering, just wasn't aware of it. Yeah, exactly, right? It's like you feel like a winner. Yeah, I'm right. I won. I won what? More junk? More stress? Oh, ick. Right? Ick. I love third eye. Seeing is wonderful. It is, isn't it? Beyond the humanness. Yeah, I could definitely feel the difference when I get sucked down into that humanness and having that limited, narrow view, right? When my vision is blocked, if you will. There's such a difference in all of that than when it's more open and free and flowing and expansive, right? Being more of that observer. Yeah. So funny. And then, last but not least, crown chakra. So typically in our chakra journal, we talked about crown chakra energy on Sundays, CCES for short, to rate that energy in our crown chakra, which is like that, I almost want to say the lid, like you pull the top, right? And that's the opening of the vessel, of the bottle, if you will, to be that conduit, right? To pull in unconditional love, source energy, pure spirit. Oh, love it. So as an empath and feeling all those feelings and taking on the feelings of others, so let me touch on this. Earlier in the journey, when I was learning about energy, when I was learning about an empath, when I was learning what these things were, becoming a little more open to them, making those connections, things are making more sense to me, sort of, right? I had this belief. So polar opposite of crown chakra is root chakra. I didn't even go into polar opposite yet in this conversation. That belief then was that my purpose, my job, my role was to, the reason, right? The reason I'm feeling other people's emotions is because it's up to me, personal power, solar plexus, humanness, up to me to fix it, right? Up to me to fix it. Not realizing that that perspective in itself blocks the energy of the crown chakra, right? Because it's not. It's not. Do I play a role in that? Sure, we all do because we're all connected, right? But is it my job? Is it my duty? Is it my role? Is it my responsibility? Because as another human being, am I then more powerful to go save the world all by myself? That's not humanness. Like, what? Yeah. Well, what is that term I think you used before, Jennifer? Spiritual ego? That's what that is. And no blame, shame, and guilt, because I think it's part of the learning curve, right? It's part of the learning process. When you're learning and earlier on in the journey and you're not quite sure, but you're trying to make pieces and you're trying to make sense of things. And that's the big thing. And that's more humanist, to be fair. But it's part of the process. And again, it's fine that we do that, right? And I do believe, for me, my human is more satisfied to know that there is a purpose for something, right? That all this isn't in vain. Just going to be honest. Still, as you can hear, because I could feel that passion still within myself, that still exists, right? I don't want all this to be in vain. So to find purpose for things makes my human feel better. When my crown chakra is open and I'm more cleared, balanced, and aligned all the way through, right? It doesn't matter. Like there's more of a lighter sense or lighter belief. Lighter meaning like lightweight, higher vibrational sense of course there is. Of course there's purpose, right? There's a connection within all. There's a reason for everything. Nothing is in vain, and all is as it should be, and that's fine, and that's okay, and that's beautiful. It's when I'm more down into the humanness a little bit more, where it's like, oh, tell me this was for nothing, right? And I got to be able to do something, because feeling helpless is one of those terrible feelings I can't stand to feel. But what is helpless? Humanness, right? It's humanness. I'm just going to let that sit and simmer right there. Jennifer says the top of the tube. I love it too, right? Yeah. Spiritual ego. It's a trap. I agree. It is too, isn't it? That's why I love that reminder of just be the conduit, right? Just be the conduit. Just be open. All is okay. We're right where we're meant to be, noticing we're already at exactly, right? Yeah. And that's, yeah. Oh, yeah, the ego. I know it's tricky, isn't it? How quickly and easily we can get shifted over into those mindsets. And that's fine. Again, no blame, shame, and guilt, right? Because we are here as human beings for the purpose of being a human being, to have this experience, right? And it's still, I'll say comical. It's not comical, but it's still interesting. Like, I get used to having these conversations with you, Jennifer, and with Diana, and with Iona, and with Rebecca, and with certain people, right? Where it's like we all have a similar mindset. We all have these similar experiences and interests. And so it's not so different and strange and weird, right? To get on here and have these conversations. However, it's interesting then when I talk to other people who aren't in these spaces and maybe don't share the same ideas and beliefs and interests and perspectives, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, gotta, So it was very different when I like started working at the hotel or having just other conversations with people. It's like, oh yeah, to just yeah. It's funny. It's just what we get used to, and then when it's something different. So before I digress too much, also, Soul Legacy Academy, Soul Legacy TV with Iona Mead, she talks about on Sundays. Part of the acronym, it's Cheers to Financial Freedom. So Sundays is Financial Freedom Sundays, right? In the Soul Legacy Journal. And it was cool being on her live today. We got to touch on a little bit that perspective about finances, that ickiness around finances, allowing ourselves to receive, right? Where we've had that block. So she plays a vibrational money game. And it was such, I had mentioned on her live today that it was such an interesting perspective for me to see in that gaining more self-awareness that in playing that game, I used to say, yeah, I want this much money and I want to be able to do this and that. And, thinking all these things that I'd like to have and like to do, blah, 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 blah. Until it was almost like having an opportunity, right? And it wasn't even like a physical opportunity. It's a vibrational opportunity. But in playing banking 50K in 50 days, or bank 50K in 50 days, where ideally, it's like the universe gives $1,000 a day and you tithe 10%. And at the end of the week, if you don't spend it daily, at the end of the week, you can spend it, right? So here's $6,300 in a week that I can spend every week. Well, the first time or two, well, that's not even true. So it was so uncomfortable the first time or two that I lost the opportunity. Like I lost the money because you have to spend it. If you don't spend it, you lose it, right? Use it or lose it. I lost it. I didn't even use it. So when I did use it, I was like, okay, so I had all this stuff, right? And stuff that I could actually use. Like I had bedding and all kinds of stuff. Then I noticed in doing that process that I still wanted to like bargain shop. Put this back. I online or in a store, I have a tendency, let's use past tense, I had, releasing this, a tendency to put things in the cart and then put it back. So I didn't spend all that money before I left, right? So in doing the vibrational money game, the bank 50K in 50 days, I was catching myself doing the same. It's like, no, giving myself permission to buy it, to have it, to receive it. And then I learned more about myself. Those like old beliefs and old feelings of unworthiness would pop in, the low self-esteem would come up. But all of that, point being, unconditional love for you and me includes the ability to receive financial freedom. There's that saying, and I have, old beliefs, right? Money is the root of all evil. Well, I believe there's some truth to that. In this sense, when you look at the things that are considered evil, right? Greed, power, control, violence, all that icky stuff. The root underneath all of that is money, right? They're doing it in a sense for either the egoic power and control, and or however they used money in there, either to have more money or used money as the tool to pull in the power and control, right? So in a sense, there's some truth in that, and I believe that. However, it doesn't mean, and this is where my lines got blurred, it doesn't mean that money on its own, by itself, always creates evil, right? It doesn't mean that money by itself is evil. It doesn't mean that having a love for the spiritual energy of money is evil, right? It doesn't mean that financial freedom is evil. It means that if we don't, it means that if we allow our egos to take over and we can get sucked in over there, right? That's where those things happen. But it's not the same. And that was one of my beliefs I've had to clear out and still clearing out, to be fair. What's the other one? So financial freedom is a form of unconditional love for self and others. It's not the same as greed. It's not the same as taking from people, right? It's allowing yourself to receive. It's allowing yourself to, eat, right? Eat Maybe eat something that's healthy for you. Take care of your physical body, having that health freedom. Allowing yourself to feel worthy enough to receive. So some of that emotional and mental health as well. Allowing yourself to have clothes to keep you warm when it's cold or cooler in the summer. Allowing yourself to receive that so you can maybe have electric, so we can show up online, so we can get to work wherever that may be, whether you're plugging your car in or putting gas in it, whatever, however you whatever form of transportation you use, that you can afford to use it, right? To maybe be able to create some memories with your family, with your friends, people you care about, for yourself. Yeah, that's what it is. There's such a difference between that financial freedom and the greed stuff, right? Financial freedom isn't evil. And it's breaking that inner barrier, that inner money block, right? To have that financial freedom. Allowing, how do you tithe? That was something else that kept throwing me, was like, how do you tithe when you've got nothing to give? How does that work? Tithing is donating, right? So how do you give when you have nothing to give? You're supposed to give, say, in general, you give 10%. Well, if I got nothing, am I giving you 10% of nothing? The heck is that? What is that? So the more I'm able to have, so to speak, the more I'm able to give, right? And that's what I want to do, is to be able to give. Stressing myself out, being in poverty, feeling poor, feeling unworthy, that's not helping anybody. It doesn't help me, and it certainly isn't going to help you, right? So shining the light on that is another part of this journey. Let's not forget it. All right, where are we at? Thank you for letting me go on that ramble. And my whole face is like doing this vibrating thing. It's really kind of cool. Hope that means that we're just breaking up some more blocks. Love it. Love it. Release it, baby. Is it here, Jennifer? Is this where I left off? Yes, I agree. I toss it out and then just observe. Exactly. Boom. Oh, I miss our vibrational spending. I know, right? Getting back on it. If I lose it, I chalked it to donations. I noticed the same penny pinched. Right. I've done that too. It's like, you know what? I just took the whole thing and donated it this time. But like really went through the process of donating. And then I've been trying to think, see, the rabbit holes get me hung up on that too, because I'll just say that. But there is a local place I like to donate to. So for those of you who don't know, my business and this part of the journey and putting my journey into the business is in honor and memory of my brother. And my brother, so technically both of my brothers and my dad and my grandfather and other family have been members on our local fire department. So that is my place for current donations, is to the local fire department, because I feel mostly safe and confident that the donations would be used appropriately if given to them. And again, it has some personal. So growing up as a kid, my brother's friends, who were also firemen, were like my big brothers. So it was kind of cool. I had like extended family. And of course, me as a child wanted to be on the fire department, but back in, around that time frame, and in this, it was not. My dad was like, over my dead body. He's not going to have his daughter on the fire department. I didn't understand then that he was really just looking out for me, wanted me protected. But I took that. My little chip on the shoulder was like, watch me. If I want to do it, I'll do it. Watch me. Which I didn't, but apparently I didn't have that desire enough. But I still honor them, and that's what I like to donate to. Jennifer says, yes, big one, receive, open to receive. It is huge. It's huge. And there's so many things underneath of it that I wasn't aware of until I started playing that game, until I started having that experience, and I could start to see then what was blocking me from receiving. Here's the other thing. So it allowed me to see how I blocked myself from receiving money But I was also blocking myself from receiving other things. I blocked myself from receiving other forms of help. I blocked myself from receiving love. I blocked myself from receiving support. Ugh. It was an eye-opener. Definitely more self-awareness in there. Society rat race. Exactly. It's all vibration, and it's the money itself, oddly enough. It's on the money itself, right? So yeah, we can clear that though, right? Which is really cool. I like that in the money box clearing challenge, how we work to clear the energy from the money itself so when we do receive that money, we can clear the energy of that. Feed your soul. Oh, you know it. The whole enchilada. Absolutely. You play the game with Iona, give love. For sure, right? Love for all and self. Yes. Shine it beautiful, right? It starts with us. It's so funny to me, in self-reflection, where it's so funny now. It's funny to me now to see myself as being spunky, because now I'm just kind of chill. Whatever, mostly. So when I look back at my spunky old self, it's like, oh my gosh, it's funny, it's comical. It's like I had no idea how silly I looked. I do now, but then, now I digressed. I forgot what I was going to say. That's okay. Must not have been important. If it was, it'll come back to me, right? The self shining, playing the game. I lost it. I saw that spunky and I lost my thought. That's okay. All right, I think we're good. So we made it all the way through. So hopefully it made sense. Again, it's a new way of kind of presenting this, watching everything evolve, trying to fit all the pieces together. We don't have to journal on every single thing, right? We don't have to make it's not about more work for ourselves or anything like that. It's just what's beneficial, the pieces that count, the pieces that resonate, the things that come up, the things that stick, the things that are like, oh yeah, that, right? Break it up into each day, which is why I want to pull shorts out just for that reminder. I'm sure as we go, it's going to continuously evolve. So some of the structure may shift again, and that's fine. I'm just being open to it and flowing with it. Chakra journal prompts are still available. Those videos, I believe that we see them in the time and space that we need to. Same with this video. It will be seen in the time and space that anyone needs to. So thank you, Jennifer, for joining me and for staying with me the whole hour and 12 minutes. I will see you soon. Again, I'm going to schedule these for every, let me take this off real quick. I'm going to schedule these for every Wednesday at 1. I'm going to do my best to keep it that day and time, but I'm going to ask for grace, because if I get scheduled or something else comes in, we'll just make adjustments, but I will show up each week. Also, my goal, so I'm learning as we go, my goal again is to pull shorts so that we have something show up as a reminder for us each day of the week. However, I did realize that the little button, to create a short from a full video doesn't show up right away. And I don't know how long it takes for that button to show up. So hopefully it shows up before Sunday, so I have enough time to go through the video, to create the shorts, to schedule them for the following week. So basically starting Monday, my goal is that we start Monday with a short from this video. So I'll have 7 shorts for 7 days from this video, and then Wednesday I'll have another. Then also what I'm thinking, so let me invite you also to, join us on the monthly collective energy clearing call. I haven't had those in a few months. I want to get back on that. First Tuesday of the month, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, even if I'm scheduled to work, I should be home in time. It might be close. My thought too on that call is to bring in the topics from these weekly videos in. And since I have been asked about meditations, I'm going to pull in a meditation on there as well to clear energy. So I've not created that meditation yet, but that is my goal as well. So you can join us live, at least come get some relaxation and clearing from the meditation. I think that'll be good. It feels good. So yeah, join us on the monthly call. It's free. Join us on the live. It's free. Get your daily reminders from the shorts. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click the notification buttons. Journal, energy healing lifestyle, right? It is a lifestyle. It does start with us. Whatever you're incorporating for you to take care of you, it's important, right? You matter. You count. Pay attention to the feelings. What are you feeling? Is it yours? Ask that first, because if it's not yours, you can release that immediately, right? And if it is yours, then it needs your attention. It's there for a reason. We can honor that, honor ourselves. If you haven't already, sign up for the 7-day Chakra Healing Challenge. Again, it is free. You can get that over. I'll drop a link. I think it should be in the description already. At the Energy Healing School, we're also building community right there off the socials just for us. And I love that too. So I will see you live. Oh, wait, comments. Sorry. I totally overlooked this. Let me come back again. And it's all okay. It is all okay. I enjoyed this live. Great job. Thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Just send the notification. I'll be with you if I can. Fantastic. It should do it. It should do it automatically, I think. I'm still learning the techie stuff. Oh, yeah, I love it. Great idea. Oh, so lovely. I love that. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. That's what we'll do. Feels right. So it came to me. We're doing it. Sounds great. So much love to you. I will see you soon.